Hello and welcome to another reading for MVL. This is a general reading. I've been getting a lot of messages this morning from Spirit, and what they want you to know is particularly your ancestors are coming through. Even those who you think never had your back, when they've passed over to the other side, they have a relearning. They come out of the amnesia that we're born into in this world, and they're re-assimilated, re-educated, whatever the right words are. And so what they see and know today, having passed over, is very different to what they saw and knew while they were living. Some of them could see who you were, the beautiful person that you were, and your vulnerabilities and struggles. Others could not. So just because someone wasn't a great source of inspiration or support for you when they were living, doesn't mean that they're not now. But that's not the message. The message is that over the years, particularly the last 10 years, but actually if you look back into your life, you'll see this sort of pattern emerging. And what it is they've been, Spirit said to me, it's taking out the trash. There's been a lot of trash being taken out during your life. And what they mean by that is, for you, it's felt like maybe you have felt in the past that you haven't found your team, your people. You haven't been surrounded by people who understand you or are able to support you or are able to reciprocate the love and care that you provide. And in fact, even back in school days and whatever, situations where you would come into a friendship or a couple of people or with a couple of people or singular or a group, and it would be okay for a time, and then somehow in some way they would kind of turn on you, or something would go wrong in that dynamic, and then you're no longer friends. And in fact, in some cases, these people may have literally turned on you in terms of started to become abusive towards you for no actual good reason. And so you've had to grow through the pain of that as you've grown up. Well, that's happened, even in the workplace as you've gotten older, or within your family, or whatever. You felt like that around maybe your relationships and the friends of these partners that you've had, and all that kind of stuff. So you may have seen a pattern. And so some people in your life, who were in your life, you have had to step away from. And sometimes you didn't know exactly why, but you just knew, you just felt it, that you needed to create some space. Other people have turned. It's like if they were wearing a mask or letting you hang around because it served them in some way, and then it no longer served them or whatever. And then they kind of turn on you because they're trying to push you away because they don't see the value of having you around anymore, or they didn't get from you or from interacting with you what they thought they were going to get, or you might have had some very quiet boundaries, and they weren't able to penetrate those boundaries. And at the time you weren't even aware of what they were actually after. So Spirit, Universe, God has what's the word? Has put within you, when you came into this life, they have put within you this almost, please give me the right word, Spirit, this mechanism It's like a defense mechanism, but not in a way that we normally use those words. It's actually a mechanism to protect your boundaries. So this is what I mean, where there might have been times where you didn't know that you were even defending your boundaries, or that your boundaries were an issue. There might have been other times where it was quite clear that your natural boundaries and your healthy boundaries were a big problem for this other person or these other people. But God's instilled in you this unspoken, unseen mechanism that stops you from completely just laying back and taking whatever crap people give you. Like, you may feel like many times in your life you have had to be passive because you couldn't understand why people were turning on you, or you couldn't understand, couldn't see the woods for the trees, so you couldn't see what was actually going on in that moment. You were meant to experience these things, but looking back, you felt as if you were very passive and didn't stand up for yourself, and you just let them walk all over you. Spirit's saying that this mechanism within you that protects the true boundaries that are there for a reason, that those people, they can sense when they come up against that. They may have tried to get you to see that the problem is this boundary, this self-protection mechanism. In that, why aren't you letting me in? Why aren't you letting me come in and create more chaos and havoc within you or within your life? Why can't I have what I want? This is what the energy is coming off these people. Whether they're conscious of it or not. Some have, some people are very, because of where they're at within themselves, they are very easily taken over or used by, let's say, entities, low level, low grade entities that want to siphon energy from you. So, so you've got this mechanism there that you weren't even aware of. You may have had boundaries that you weren't even aware of, and looking back, you felt like you were the words that Spirit's giving me is laid to waste, but it's almost like left to rot, walked all over, used and abused, left to rot, that kind of feeling. But from a spiritual perspective, what Spirit and your ancestors have been observing is when this sort of dynamic occurs, they kind of go, oh, good, they've given up. They've hit the wall with this protection mechanism, and they've given up. So they're looking at you, saying you have successfully not allowed them, whether you're aware of the mechanism or not, and most likely you're not, to actually come in and rape and pillage, basically, and not come in and cause real destruction within you or in your life. You've been successful in preventing that, and this is through your unconscious behaviours. This is not even, it's not even a thing of where you've realised, I know what they're up to, and I'm going to put a stop to that. These days, that might be the case. In the past, you were completely, felt completely victimised by what was going on, and you couldn't understand why they were behaving the way they were behaving, and all that kind of stuff. Why is this person that I care for, this friend that I trust, or this, colleague that I trust, or have, really proven myself to be loyal to them? I thought they were loyal to me too. Why are they now turning on me? Why have they now done things that, either requires more of me, they want more access, or they want me to give up something just to be, still friends with them, or still in this relationship, or whatever it is. And so there's this pattern. If you can see that, then definitely this reading is for you. But there'll be other things said, even if that doesn't resonate with you. There'll be other things said that you will benefit from. Just trust that if you've come across this video, it is for you. And so spirits celebrates, the universe celebrates when we've gone through some really hard times and we've felt like chewed up and spat out or completely dejected or rejected. But in actual fact, what's happened is they haven't gotten those enemies posing as friends and lovers or family, have not gotten what they've wanted from us. And that's why they reject us, because they give up, essentially. And they think that we're naive, stupid, dumb, whatever. And in some cases, we might have been exhibiting such qualities, but it's actually innocence. It's actually our purity and innocence, our ability to tolerate and forgive and all that kind of stuff. Our compassion and empathy is mistaken for weakness and foolishness and naivety. Okay? So Spirit wants you to know that even back in the days when you were completely vulnerable to nasty entities or nasty people, basically, trying to take advantage of you and trying to hurt you, there was this mechanism in place because it's been inbuilt within us from when we've come into this life. Okay, that's one of the tools that we've had on our belt that we don't have any recollection of because of the amnesia we experience when we're born into this world. Yeah, so we've been employing that that mechanism without even knowing that it's there, because it's a self. We don't need to activate it; it's already built in and activated. So, one way you might know is it's like if you felt like you've been pushed to the limit by someone that you've respected, really cared for, and done a lot for, that kind of thing, and they push you to the absolute limit, where you feel like if they push me any further, I'm going to fall backwards. But what you would fall backwards over is your boundary, and you may not have even been aware why it's there, what the boundary is. It doesn't matter. What matters is you were in spiritual battle and didn't even realize it. You couldn't imagine. Part of the reason why is because you couldn't imagine. You're not naive. You just could not imagine that there could be such ill intent coming from these people. It's shocking to you. It traumatizes you, and so you get caught up in that. But what's actually happening is that your spiritual protective mechanisms that you've come here with, they are always on and activated, and you feel like you're getting pushed and pushed and pushed to the limit, and then you realize I actually have to walk away, or the answer is going to continue to be no until these people give up, because I don't even understand why it is that they want what they want from me, or what they actually want from me. And if I give them this, is that the only thing, or is there going to be more and more required of me? How much of myself am I having to lay myself bare, for them to just keep taking, or however that makes sense to you. And so Spirit wants you to know that in the past, if you look back and you go, oh, that person left, or I had to walk away from that person, or this stupid argument happened and I don't even understand why, and so we weren't friends anymore. This is decades ago, years ago, months ago, or whatever. Like, why, trying to understand why people come in and out of your life. And because you just want everyone to be together and be happy and get along. You can't do that with people who don't share the same intent towards you as you do them. Okay? Or the same intent towards a certain project you're involved in, or relationship, or family, or whatever. If they don't have the same intent in their approach, then you're not on the same page. And you may not see that until they start getting aggressive, or they start showing their hands because they feel like they need to amp up the pressure to get you to comply. And in the end, you kind of don't comply. You comply to a certain level because you want peace, and what they're doing is traumatizing to you, and you start looking like you're going to comply. But then when push comes to shove, you don't comply because that mechanism is there, whether you're aware of it or not. And that's a protective mechanism that's been installed within you, that just they can't. It's a no access zone for these entities or ill-intended people. So when Spirit talks about taking out the trash, sometimes the trash has been taken out for you, and it's not your decision, but they've removed certain people and influences from your life. And the influences can be that, let's say you were working a particular job and you're actually really good at it. It's not your passion, but you're actually really good at it. You're well equipped to do this job really well. And for as long as it's going good and the money's good or whatever the situation is, you keep going with it. But sometimes when the universe can see, when God can see, when your ancestors' spirit, your guides can see that it no longer serves you to stay in that environment, that the influence of that environment, the flavour of it, is not good for you long term, they will find a way to get you out of there. Whether you get headhunted to a new position, a new job, whether you get moved within the same organisation but away from a certain team of people or building, or whether you suddenly get sacked, or whether you reach the point where I can do this, but I'm just so unfulfilled that I'm going to have a nervous breakdown if I keep going this way. I need to find another way. And then suddenly Spirit says, okay, they're ready now, give them this opportunity. Or, you just have to leave, decide to leave, and then the stepping stones are put before you. Life always works out for you because you're very highly guided and guarded from Spirit. So they just want you to understand that these are not losses. These are not experiences where you have to look back and feel like you have to do any serious, what's the word, Spirit? Any serious shadow work to get past. Like, it was actually a spiritual battle. So a lot of the times when you may have already done a lot of shadow work, a lot of healing within yourself, facing your traumas and your wounds over the years, you may have already, or you may be in the process of doing that now. And certain people from the past just they're not even a blip on the map, if that makes sense. But at the time, back then, it really hurt you. It was a big blip. But this, at the moment, put into context of your life, across the span of your life, these people who really hurt you in the past, it was just a small blip. Because what was actually going on is the spiritual battle, in that they were trying to break an earth angel, basically. They were trying to break a sensitive, break someone down so that they can just take whatever they want and leave you for dead, basically. To get you to keep self-sacrificing, self-negating for the benefit of whether it's the relationship, the friendship, the workplace, the family, whatever. And you have very much learned where your boundaries are now. You in the last couple of years, or you may be in the process of it now, where you're starting to learn your worth, basically, and that you're not here to be pushed around by someone who doesn't even make their intent clear, or that you don't feel safe with. That if people or places don't make you feel safe, why would you keep opening the doors to go deeper and deeper into you or your life? Yeah? Something feels off. You won't do it, and part of that is this self-protection protection mechanism. But you're becoming, these days, you have become or are becoming much more consciously aware of the spiritual battle, or at least the dynamics of it, even if you still have questions around what the truth of the matter is in terms of their intent or what they were trying to do, and were they sincere or were they not, that kind of thing. Their frustrations with you when they're not getting what they want, that is sincere. 100%. You can bank on that. That's what Spirit's saying. So, yeah, just know that everything's happened for a reason, and we don't always have to understand it at the time. In fact, it's not a requirement at all. Just know that you're highly protected, guarded, and guided. And sometimes Spirit guides us through our subconscious, rather than making us having to make us understand why something's happening and why we're being led in a certain direction or moved away from a certain influence. Okay? And so that's when we're told, go with the flow, go with the flow, go with the flow. And so you've learned a lot of things about yourself, or you're in a process of learning a lot of things about yourself, and what you will and won't tolerate moving forward, and how you will and won't be treated. Okay. So just know that Spirit's got your back. It always has. Even when you have thought you were destitute, alone, not a friend or family member to protect you or to support you or help you to recover, you had to do that on your own. That's part of the strengthening and refining of us. Okay, that stuff we had to experience. Yes, you may be doing shadow work on that to release any associated emotion with that. Yes. But in actual fact, Spirit's had our back the whole time, and they celebrate when that happens. Even if we're knocked on our asses in absolute despair and shock and trauma from the way we're being treated by people, they are celebrating and they are lifting us up. They always lift us up pretty quick smart, if we allow them. They celebrate that you won the battle that you couldn't even see was happening. Okay? So they just wanted to make that clear to you. Doing a short spread today, aren't we, Spirit? Because we don't want to go on for an hour and a half. I'm trying to make videos shorter for people so they've got more time. That requires less time for them to watch it and still give them the message. Tell me, Spirit, is the spread that I'm thinking of going to work? Okay, thank you. So we have the Emperor in your current position, which is awesome. We have the Chariot, which is your challenge. We have the Sun, which is the current influence or advice from Spirit. And then we have the Hermit. Interesting. Okay, obviously, Spirit, you're going to get me to pull out more cards for clarification. But just quickly, we'll just zoom through here. So your current position is you are someone who's been through many battles, who's been through many experiences. I hope that's showing up on the screen. Been through many experiences and challenges, basically. And each of those challenges have forged you into the person that you are today. I'll ask you a question. At any stage in your life, have you ever, you might have been riding in a car. For me, I was riding in a car. Someone else was driving and I was riding, and I was quite young. And suddenly you're seeing patterns of the past, of a certain period. It might have been 18 months, 5 years, whatever. And you can see, wow, if those things didn't happen, that at the time were not favourable or good experiences for me. I perceived them as bad experiences. But if they hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I am today. and who I am today. And even if you can see the potential for your own growth or for things to get better in your life, you're still grateful for who you are and where you are. So that's part of your nature. That's your undying spirit. Okay, no one can break that. So you look back and you're able to see these pivotal points in time that you just thought were painful experiences. And then you realize, wow, if all that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here. I'm asking you whether you've ever had that kind of clarity or epiphany come to you. I'll leave that with you to think about. Feel free to put it in the comments or whatever to let me know whether you've experienced that. But certainly this is someone who knows thyself. The Emperor is strong, can be rigid when out of balance, but certainly is not easily influenced by anybody, and I mean anybody. And so you might be experiencing in your life at the moment little tests or people who are potential friends or acquaintances or work partners or something like that, where you're getting kind of gently tested. It's almost like Spirit's having a laugh, or the devil's having a laugh, where it's like, well, let's give them a poke and see how they respond to this. Let's give them a poke through this person and see how they respond to that. And it's people trying to get away with something, trying to get something out of you. They're being cheeky. In terms of asking something of you that they really know that they shouldn't be asking, or that kind of thing. And you handle it today like a stone bouncing off a wall. You handle it today in a way that you wish you could have, or in your life in the past. You just don't, you're not affected by it. You don't see that you have to give up anything or give out freebies or be in absolute self-sacrifice and service to others in order to have them in your life, in order to be loved by them, in order for them to reciprocate the level of care that you have provided or provide. You don't need to self-sacrifice or self-negate or give up something that you've earned or have the privilege of having in your life, or whatever it is, that's something you've worked for. You don't have to give that up in order, as a bargaining chip, in order for them to show love to you. You know now that they should just be doing it. If you're playing this role, get in the role, and you shouldn't have to get paid energetically or otherwise to be in it. You should want to be in it. Yeah, if they want something more than that, they're not the right person to be your friend or your work partner or whatever, or for you to engage with, family member or whatever. They don't have the same intent. They're trying to get something they might feel entitled to. And so these days you're just like, nah, that's not going to happen. Nah, like it's almost a joke because you've changed so much. Okay, you're no longer a pushover. This person's for real. Okay. The challenge is the Chariot. Okay, and so what I was getting from Spirit was this morning was keep on moving, even when you think something's not working, or some new thing that you're doing, or some direction you're going in, or something in your life that you are doing, that it's not, what's the words? You may be questioning whether it's worthwhile or whether you should be doing it. Am I just distracting myself or wasting my time or whatever? Is this not for me or whatever? Spirit was saying, keep going. What you used to is not being supported by those around you, and you probably still aren't now. And so what your through this experience that got you to here, your connection to Spirit, to your ancestors, to the divine, whether you're aware of it or not, has actually strengthened. And so that's where you're getting the support from. But they're not tangible people that are going to come around you and put their arm around your back and say, I got you, I've got you. I don't know why I spoke it the way I just did. But that kind of thing, it's not in the physical realm, it's from Spirit. Okay? So the support is there, and they were saying, so keep going, keep gently moving forward. You don't have to forge, you don't have to force, you don't have to take it on as a responsibility. You do what you're inspired to do, move forward with what you're inspired to do. There's a sense of, today I'm getting look on his face is a sense of self-satisfaction, self-fulfillment. You become a self-fulfilling prophecy, if those are the right words, Spirit, when you really believe in yourself and trust in what you're excited to do, what you feel inspired to do. And if you're coming from a heart space, which you always have been through your life, you always wanted to make things better for people or and for yourself in turn, but it was almost by proxy. You didn't matter. It was for, I can make this place better, or I can make this family work better, or I can make this workplace work better, or I can make this relationship better, or I can, help through my relationships, I can help these people, or whatever it is. You're always wanting to improve yourself, get better at being able to improve people and situations around you. That's always your goal. And that again is a spirit saying, undying spirit. That is the essence of who you are. And so they want you to have that same passion that you've always devoted to people and things that are outside of you. They want you to have that same passion for yourself and move forward away from what doesn't serve you and towards what you know to be true. Why are you giving me these words, Spirit? What you know to be true, what you know to be fair, what you know to be just, and what you want to create. So your creative endeavors, okay? If you kind of are feeling, this is a challenge, right? If you're kind of feeling a bit lost at the moment and you feel like, oh, what's the point? Or I was doing this for a while, but I don't know whether it's what I should be doing. If you're inspired to do it and it's coming from your gut, from your heart space, rather than a should or a have to, or any sense of obligation or responsibility, then do it. Just do it. Just let it become a part of you. It's part of what you do. The other message that come through was the things that we do consistently over time, that all the small things even, or things that we don't think are that important or that significant or whatever, that we do consistently over time, end up becoming the bulk of what we do. All those little bits of time and effort, and by effort I don't mean that it's an effort, but the energy you put into something ends up being quite a big volume of energy that you put into something over time. And that's the whole point of it. It actually becomes who you are today. Okay? So don't second guess yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Just stay in balance with your heart and your gut in terms of what you feel inspired to do. And then take gentle steps towards that, fun steps towards that. Keep it fun, keep it light, keep it fun. Okay, and so that, what I just said then, is the influence that's coming across. So the advice from Spirit, or it's not really advice, it's a gentle wave of energetic influence coming from Spirit to lighten up, sweetie, lighten up. And so exactly what I was saying, the approach to moving forward or moving on should be with an attitude of fun and lightheartedness. Okay, the mountains in the back here, the mountains or city in the back there, the mountains in the back there, they all represent challenges. And so these mountains got you to where you are today to be the beautiful, strong person you are. These mountains are what you're moving away from, because it no longer serves you to be in that place or with those people, or a certain environment, or moving away from certain patterns in terms of how you conduct yourself within your life. Okay? And these mountains represent, well, life's never perfect. It never appear perfect, but it is perfect in its ability to equalize, to have constant equilibrium that we don't get to see. And so there'll always be challenges in life. There'll always be, for as long as we're alive, there will always be things that occur that will serve to strengthen and refine us. Okay? So, but we're having fun anyway. Get on your horse, get out in the sun, enjoy nature, and lighten up. Have fun. And you do that through self-love. You do that through, well, what do I want to do with myself today? I have a few spare hours, or I have a day off. What's something fun I can do for myself, or something that gives me peace? Yeah? That I can do with ease, that isn't a challenge. And so that's the process. Your challenge is to move forward and have faith and trust in yourself and the divine, and that you are worthy. Keep pouring into yourself and your projects and looking after yourself. I kept getting, are you hydrated enough? Do you water with a pinch of like Celtic sea salt or Himalayan salt? It's not a prescription, but you could look into whether that's good for you. They're reasonably low sodium, but they've got lots of minerals in them, and so good for electrolytes. Having that throughout the day. Don't overdo it, but just talking about a little pinch of into your water. I don't know why I'm telling you that, but someone needs to hear that. And that, so hydration will keep you, Spirit's just saying the word fluid, so that you can move forward with a sense of fluidity, yeah, rather than rigidity, because this mindset can sometimes be quite rigid, unforgiving and rigid, and it has to be this way. And so the challenge for you is to move on through with fluidity and lighten up about it. Yeah, he's very serious, a determination, self-belief, and a big smile, happy times. Okay, so that's the influence that's coming across you, across your life. And then if you follow, I take all that on board, what you can sort of expect is more clarity, because the sun also gives you clarity. The process of lightening up sometimes allows us to unlock some of the mental doors, things that are locked up within us. And then we might be doing something like washing the dishes or something random, and suddenly we'll have a penny drop moment or an epiphany where we'll go, that's why that person said that all those years ago or yesterday, or that's why they did that. I can see now. That's the influence of the lightening up the lightening up will have on you. And then it brings you to a place where you're able to shed your own light on things. So again, we're looking at mountains, so challenges, things that challenge us to grow. And us bringing our own light to the matter. So no longer feeling like we have to just accept what life hands out, and or accept what people do, or accept a situation. We can through our inner reflection, because the Hermit is about inner reflection and solace. We can bring light to the situation ourselves rather than waiting for others, through our intuitive abilities, and those epiphany moments like I just described. One more card there, Spirit. Thank you. Beautiful. And strength. And so we start with strength, we end with strength. Okay, so what it will do is you will, by taking this on, you'll get to a point where you can really feel like, I've got this worked out now, I know what I'm doing. Accepting things within yourself, accepting behaviours that you remember that you exhibited in the past that led you to pain maybe, or led to, and you never really understood why. and just and there's a self-acceptance in this, and an ability to self-moderate. And so sometimes in the past, in particular, you may have looked back on things that have happened to you in the past and gotten really quite emotional about it. This is about, again, see the mountains? She's got her back to the mountains and the infinity symbol above her head. So forever changed because of what she's experienced, but now has it under control and can tame the beast, can have joy with the beast. And I don't mean beast as in anything evil. I mean, the lion, it can represent the wild side of us. It can represent our pride as well. It can represent our passions, and coming to grips with that. She's touching the lion, coming to grips with that, caressing our passions and helping them to grow, feeling the strength that perhaps we feel we lack now, the conviction, to move forward. And knowing that no matter what's revealed through our intuition, through our self-reflection, that we're okay, we're strong. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I hope it has been a short one, and have a great day. This has been a general reading. If you would like a personal reading that we get to look at the actual dynamics going on in your personal life, feel free to book a reading with me. The email is in the description box. If anyone wants to buy me a coffee, in the channel description box there is a PayPal thing for donations. Everything is appreciated, and thank you. Many blessings to you, and have a great time with what you're doing, because you're moving in the right direction.